Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here. PokéPlay for the day coming at you, and we are still trying to chain some Klefkis. Last time I ended the episode by talking about the shenanigans of my life. You know, that every once in a while, something just has to go terribly wrong for me. And one of the biggest things that's ever gone wrong was one time I was helping my friend move out of his house. And the story takes a pretty insane turn. So, really quick, something I want to say again is, like, about every 2 months, something really crazy happens in my life. Whether I get hit by a car at work, or just some crazy things like this story. So, my friend calls me up, he tells me he's moving out of his house. The landlord wasn't home, but, you know, it was his house. Like, he was just renting a room from some guy inside of their house. And, like, he pretty much turned into family for them. He just wanted a new place, so there wasn't really any problems with the landlord. And what ended up happening was he called me up. He's like, "Yo, help me move out of this house, and you know, I'll buy you lunch or something." And I had the day off, and he was a good friend, so I decided to help him out. And while we were in there, the wife came home. The wife didn't know, like, the wife already thought that he had moved out of the house, and he didn't know that he was coming to pick up his stuff that day. So the wife came home early from work. Maybe she was grabbing lunch or something. So she sees us rustling through the house, you know, trying to move boxes around and whatnot. Instead of going in and finding out it was him and me, she just straight up calls the cops and says people are breaking in. When she says people are breaking in, the cops of Everett, Washington, do take that very seriously. So what ended up happening was she called the cops came over, and they were just kind of like stationed outside the house for a while, talking to her, keeping an eye on our movements. And I like go up to the window, and you know, this probably wasn't a really good thing because I probably looked shady as hell. Because I went up to the window, kind of poked my head outside, made eye contact with him, and was like, "Oh shit." Like, you know, closed the windows, ducked down. I was like, "Dude, there's cops out there." He's like, "What do you mean there's cops out there?" I'm like, "Dude, what are you doing? Are we, like, robbing this house?" He's like, "No, dude, you know I live here. Like, I was just moving out." I was like, "Well, they don't know that because the cops are here." And he's like, "Let me go check." So he turns down the hallway, goes to the living room. And no sooner than that happens do we hear glass breaking, or I hear glass breaking, and I look out, and my friend's on the ground, and I'm like, "What the hell?" And then I get a whiff of it. They tear gassed us. They just like straight up went, "Fuck it, we're not we're not going to deal with these guys anymore." They tear gassed the place. They drop my friend. I end up going down because that crap is insane. It's impossible to describe, like just inhaling a jalapeno. Or something ridiculous like that. And then just getting it all over your face, like, it's like getting maced everywhere. And I haven't gotten maced, so that's what I've heard from other people I've gotten tear gas, but it's kind of like a very unpleasant feel like you're going to die, and we don't know what we're doing wrong. So I'm all disorientated. This guy busts down the door, grabs me, another guy comes behind, grabs my friend, throws us out to the lawn, and all I hear is a rifle, just like ch-ch. So we got yanked out of that house at gunpoint. Well, I guess it wasn't a rifle, but you know, some kind of gun cocking. And we got yanked out of the house at gunpoint while tear gassed. By this time, the landlord shows up, and he kind of looks at his wife and goes, "What the hell? They're supposed to be here." And the cops just kind of like played it off like, "Oh well, this is kind of how we handle those situations." And it was just kind of like, everything's K. You know, I ended up just, like, you know, just going screw it and going home. I was like, "Dude, you owe me more than lunch." He ended up giving me like 20 bucks and some lunch because we went through that. Landlord, he ended up just being like, "Sorry about that. I'll buy you lunch." I guess that's how everyone in Seattle, Washington handles everything, you know, like, "Sorry about that. Buy you lunch." So that was just a really sucky day. I ended up taking the next day off of work. I was like, I just got tear gassed for helping my friend move out of his house. Can I just take the day off? I did not get to enjoy my one day off for the week. And I guess that's another way to tie in my life. When I was living in Seattle, I was working 50 hours a week. I was working over full time, and I was working non-stop. I had maybe one day off a week. Oh, fuck. I forgot that was there. Please? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, thank you for being a Klefki. That was about to get really bad. So, yeah, I was working about 50 hours a week. I did overnight stock for holiday season at Toys R Us, and then I also did holiday stock at Walmart. So one day I'd be at Toys R Us, the next day I'd be at Walmart, and just kind of go back and forth until I was working 7 days a week, 10 hours a day. It was kind of, like, I wouldn't call it straight 10 hours. Walmart and Toys R Us were working 9 hours, and then you had an hour lunch, so that way you got 8 hours. So it was kind of like 8 hours times 5, so 56 hours a week of work. And I considered it 10 hours because I had to take the bus, and it was like a 30-minute bus each way. So I was working hard, and I was working non-stop to make enough to live on. Because when I moved to Seattle, I had no money. I had like $600, and that all went to my first 2 months of rent. And like moving in, because I had no items either. I moved from Miami, Florida to Seattle. I had to buy, you know, a couch. I ended up buying a couch and making it my bed. Had to buy a TV, had to buy tables and dressers and stuff. So I had no money. Like my first couple paychecks, even working 50 hours a week, went straight to rent and living and food and stuff because I had nothing to live off of. So I ended up doing that from October through January, like until the start of January, October, November, December, 3.5 months. I took maybe 3 days off. I had 1 day off a month. And you know what? I loved it. I loved every minute of it because it was the first time I was ever living on my own. And I knew it's what I needed to do if I wanted to continue living on my own. And Seattle is just the greatest place ever to live. Don't ask me why I left because I don't know. It was pretty much all for my girlfriend. Just to live with her. So, it's the greatest feeling living on your own. If any of you guys are living on your own, you know, you're not in college, you're not tied down by your parents, you're actually working really hard every day so you can stay on your own. You know what it feels like, those first couple months when you're like, oh my god, I can do anything I want. You know, I played DDR in my boxers because, you know, DDR is really hot, but, you know, because I could. I didn't have to be fully clothed. I could lounge around naked if I wanted because it was my home. I could play video games as long as I wanted and not have it be a problem with anyone. You know, I would get back home, play Minecraft for 4 hours and sleep. That was pretty much my day. I would wake up, make myself some breakfast, go to work, remember, I was working overnights. So breakfast would pretty much be like dinner to normal people. Go to work, midnight would be my lunchtime, and then I'd wake up, or I'd get back from work early morning, make myself some dinner, or, you know, grab some fast food, and then I'd play Minecraft until like noon and then sleep until 7. Those were my days. And you know what? I wouldn't trade it for anything. Like, Seattle was such a beautiful place. Like, Seattle in the fall has the greatest weather ever. I was waking up, like, even at night, it was like 60s, and then when I'd get off of work, it'd be like 50s getting into the night, it'd be like 60s during the day. Oh, crap! Gotta stop doing that. I blew it. This is not a Klefki. Oh my god, it's close. Looks like telling anecdotes of my life are very good luck. Oh, I almost blew it again. I suck at this. I'm also, like, losing a lot of focus because I'm walking much more than I need to use the Poke Radar. But yeah, I wouldn't trade it for anything. I worked that hard because I wanted to work that hard. I wanted to stay out in Seattle. I didn't want anything but that. Oh, uh-oh. I just totally forgot where I was. I'm going to go back down here. Because, you know, Seattle's great. Loved it. 37. It looks like the chain is holding strong-ish. Like that didn't look like some good grass, but overall it's going pretty well. And I think that's about it for that. Man, no, nothing good. You know, I just worked non-stop to stay in Seattle. I have a lot of little stories between there, but right now I'm trying to focus on the game, focus on Let's Play, focus about talking about things. That's about the most I can come up with. Ooh, that's good grass. Hopefully. I'm probably blowing it by jinxing it. Oh, thank you, Klefki. I want this shiny Klefki. I'm not giving up until I get a shiny Klefki. So yeah, Seattle, living on your own, incredible. I went down to downtown on my few days off. Like, if I got my 1 day off for 2-3 weeks, I would go downtown. It was an 1.5 hour bus. I didn't care. I love downtown. You go to Pike's Place Market, your life changes forever. you have a really good coffee from like some obscure coffee shop, or even the first Starbucks, changes your life. Life-changing experiences everywhere. See, that was so good. Just living on your own, you find those things that just make it worth living, and you'll work as hard as you need to do that. So, by the time January rolled down, I wasn't tired. I was still ready to go. So, my running was way too erratic right there. I was trying to save it and I couldn't. Hey, that's some probably good grass right there. I don't know if I'm allowed to save or not. I would like to save it. It's been a while. Oh, please, Klefki. Yes. So, I was still ready to roll, and that's when I ended up working Liberty Tax. After Liberty Tax, I ended up working for a pizza place for sign holding, and then I ended up making pizza for that place, because, you know, tax season happens. I knew I was losing my job, pretty much. And then I didn't get kept on by Toys R Us, but I ended up getting hired for Michael's after seasonal. So I was working Michael's and Liberty Tax, again, over 40 hours a week, doing stock at Michael's, which wasn't overnight stock, it was morning stock, but again, you have to wake up at 3 in the morning to get that store by 4. Work at the store 4 to 10, I would go to Liberty Tax at noon, work noon to 6, that's a 10-hour day. And I did that 4 days a week, and then did a small shift, like 5 hours at Liberty Tax. That's 45 hours a week. Did I care? No, I was rolling in money. This was the first time I ever had money in my life. I had $3,000 in savings within 6 months of living on my own. I could do whatever I wanted with that money. I chose to save it, but you know, if I wanted to buy whatever I wanted, I could buy it. By the time my first year ended, I had $5,000 in savings, and that's after visiting Colorado, after attending a lot of anime conventions, after doing whatever I wanted. So it eventually became worth it, but you know, after a year of doing that, I was beat up. I ended up moving to Colorado just so I could chill with my girlfriend for a while. Who wasn't my girlfriend until I moved down. You know, we were really fond of each other, and I eventually visited, we hit it off, and I decided, you know what, if I move in with her, maybe we'll hook up. And we became boyfriend-girlfriend. So, looks like this episode's dragged on for quite some time as well. Klefki is being a Klefki. We have lost a chain and started a chain, so maybe something will go good from here. I was able to keep a chain for a whole episode. So let's find a new Klefki, please. I don't like any of that. Too much edge grass. So after I find one more Klefki, can end the episode. Hopefully I don't get trolled. That might be some good grass. So let's call it a Klefki, please. Good. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys enjoyed the story. And I hope you all have a nice day.